Hey everybody, it's Aimee. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be talking about Socionics again. It seems like, judging by everybody's feedback, y'all love my Socionics videos. And the last time I talked about the Gamma Quadras. Okay, so we're talking about the NITE, FISE, SE, FI, TENI types. Okay, these four types share the same cognitive functions, therefore belonging in the gamma quadrants. You guys can check out that video right over here. Today, I am going to be talking about the delta quadra types. So that is going to be the TESI type, the SITE, NEFI, and FINE. If you guys do not understand Socionics, don't you worry about it, because as usual, I will explain the concept so simply and to the point that you guys will definitely be able to, keep up with this video. As usual, make sure you're subscribed to my channel, give this video a like, and on top of that, please share your experiences too. If you are a Delta Quadra type, or I don't know, maybe you've had experiences talking with Delta Quadra types. Yeah, share all of them down below. And anyway, let's get into it. Okay, so if I can summarize this quadra with one word to, I guess, describe this quadra's vibe, it'll be moralist, okay? And by that, I mean, here's just the definition for it. A person who teaches or promotes morality. A person who behaves in a morally commendable way, a person given to moralizing, if we want to define morality, principles concerning the distinction between right and wrong or good and bad behavior. If I could pinpoint this quadra with one word, I would say moralist. And let's say that this person that you are thinking about, right? Maybe they are, let's say, a TE lead and their feeling is inferior, so they're not necessarily the most moral person. Let's say that that's the case, right? They may not appear as a moralist type. They may appear to actually be rather domineering, maybe even bossy at times. They're very like, let's get done, all logic. With that being said, though, the fact that they are holding true to this belief that selfishness is okay, you see that it's this tendency to create a rule and then make that the way to be, or okay to be this way, it's good to be this way. There's always this tendency to distinguish between right and wrong in everything that they do. And again, it doesn't even matter if the belief itself is justified or not. And I think this is the nature of introverted feeling and introverted sensing. So introverted sensing has a tendency to categorize everything. It's about nuanced experience. So it's very much like, in this situation, this is good, and in this situation, this is bad. And it's about being able to understand these distinctions at all times, and then eventually, creating a universal rule. So connecting all of these SI nuances, creating a universality out of it, and maybe creating some kind of a rule that applies to all. This is very Delta Quadra-like. Now, you guys may be wondering, okay, so the Gammas are kind of like this too, right? Because Gammas do have introverted feeling as well. However, their introverted feeling is tied with an introverted intuition. So if I were to be honest, the best way to distinguish the Delta FI and Gamma FI is that Gamma FIs do tend to be more self-interested. To be straight up honest, this is going to be very apparent when you speak to a Gamma type, is everything is going to be centered around the self, their own individuality, their own beliefs, and they almost value being able to distinguish themselves as a crowd in everything that they do. It's the most individualistic quadra. So the Gammas, very individualistic. With introverted feeling and introverted sensing, the Deltas are very collectivistic, and which is so odd, right? Because you think introverted feeling and you think, but isn't FI all about authenticity and individuality? Yes, when it is paired with introverted intuition. With introverted sensing, it is a little bit more collectivistic. And even if you meet the introverted feeling type that is a little bit more expressive with their opinions and they seem to be very distinguishing personality types, I think the difference is that with Delta types, they do not inherently value extroverted sensing. So with Delta types, if you tell them that they're being very aggressive or they're being quite selfish, this is not the right way to be, it is usually the Delta types that will kind of maybe reconsider their frameworks. They'll double check themselves, like, am I being good? Am I being bad? You know what I mean? There's this understanding that they are not being a part of the collective right now. And so therefore I must adjust myself to be more homeostatic with the environment. If you're thinking about Delta Quadra versus Gamma Quadra, I would say like Dalai Lama versus Michael Jackson. So with the Delta Quadra types, they do have that extroverted thinking that is kind of like the Gammas, very much about work, work, work. Work is everything. However, there's a clear distinction in the sense that with TESI, it is more about obligations. I think obligations, morals, it all ties in together. So if a TE type believes in hustling, it's because there is some kind of a moral obligation to this. For example, this is the way somebody should work. It's a follow through on some kind of a rule or a principle and holding true to that principle.
Gas, yes, bleach, and a furnace. The earthquake, you'll blow up Sacramento yourself, you fucking idiot.
My entire life is work. This podcast is work. I'm getting in the car and going to another meeting. Work. I'm going to fuck a bitch. That's work. She's going to be on my arm at the fucking Cannes on the film festival. That's more credibility. I consider it work. Fuck her.
And so it's a different kind of hustle from the Gamma Quadras. The Gamma Quadras, like I said, they're very individualistic. They're very self-interested. So they're kind of like the people that'll be the first to clock out on the dot. If they're not going to make any more money off of it, or there's no long-term impact. It's not a matter of, oh, but it's not the right way to do things, really. I mean, maybe the FI leads may be more like this, but at the end of the day, the Gammas are always going to be like, okay, if there's no impact, I have the right to, I guess, do my own thing and be an individual and, screw you all kind of a thing. Whereas the Deltas are not so fast to make these types of judgments because they're going to want to reconsider, there's a lot of things to actually consider, right? It's like, is this the right way to do things? How is this gonna affect the team? How am I gonna be perceived? If I do this, then I may not have security in this social group because of, that collectivism thing again. And I don't want to burn any bridges. There's a lot of things to consider with the Delta Quadra, the FINE Quadra here. So it makes a huge difference in the way their behavior manifests. And finally, I would like to touch upon fantasies and the Delta Quadra. The nature between extroverted intuition and introverted feeling, it tends to bring out this fantastical nature. Any FI is going to be more about expressing your introverted feeling in the form of ideas, not necessarily aesthetics. So for example, a lot of film directors and fiction writers tend to be Delta Quadra types. It's this idea that these are my introverted feeling principles and let me escape this current SE reality into any reality and explore whatever the hell I want to explore. It's this desire, freedom to live out your ideals and make your dreams come true. I think the problem that this quadra may face is that their current reality is never quite living up to the expectation of these ideals. So I think a really good example of this would probably be someone like J.K. Rowling. I'm sure she's a Delta Quadra type. And, she is so seemingly open-minded, right? Because she's like Harry Potter. How can you be more open-minded than that? So creative. And yet she's under this controversy because I know she doesn't support gay rights or whatever. Something like this. But my point is to say that for someone that has such creative work, you would think that she would be more open-minded when it comes to ideas and possibilities, but not quite, because when it comes to making changes in your introverted sensing framework of what you believe to be true, FISI really is closed off in that sense. It's very guarded, past-oriented. And with J.K. Rowling as well, there's this past orientation, this holding on to this belief. And, how come people can't see my ideals and my perspective? I just want to let loose with my ideals. Let me create Harry Potter. You see what I'm saying? I mean, this is an exaggeration, but I think this encapsulates the Delta Quadra ideals. I said passion and comfort is not a Gamma thing. That's what I said the last time. But I do think that passion and comfort is a Delta Quadra thing. I think the Delta Quadra types are the most open-minded when it comes to allowing others to make their dreams come to reality. I'm thinking of that, veteran that's been through a lot in life and knows that life is super unpredictable. So their mission in life, the right thing to do, is to enable other people to live to their fullest potential. And this person may, have sympathy for those that are less fortunate and may want to invest more time and effort in helping them grow.
So I am personally going to send you to culinary school. I'll pay the tuition full time.
Oh my goodness.
And I don't want you worrying about mum and dad, because I'm taking care of that. Thank you.
This is pure Delta Quadra, like pure Delta Quadra. And as I say in all of my videos, it's not a matter of whether you relate to these values or you don't relate to these values. It's a matter of how many of these values are showing up in your personality, in your actions. Chances are, even if you relate to these values, you have to consider that maybe you're not actually showing these values in your everyday action. Like nobody sees you in this particular way that I am talking about in this video. Okay, so that's just something to consider. Okay, I think I summarized the Delta Quadra types pretty well in this video. Like I said, if you guys have any experiences yourself with any Delta Quadra personality type, or maybe if you are a Delta Quadra yourself, please leave it down below in the comments, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.